Matt Miguez has plenty on his mind, and he's ready to share it with the world. It's time to hear the Miguez Mindset.
Welcome into the Miguez Mindset here on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. Matt Miguez here previewing a colossal top 10 matchup in college football coming up this Labor Day weekend between the 5th-ranked LSU Tigers and the 8th-ranked Florida State Seminoles. This game last year was a big one as well. However, it didn't quite have the feel of this matchup. This matchup, some people are even calling it a potential playoff matchup. You look at this game last year, LSU started out of the gates really slow, really rocky. Florida State jumped out to a big lead. Then LSU figured it out in the second half, fought their way back into it, scored a touchdown right in the closing seconds, and when they went to kick the extra point to tie it, it got blocked. And so Florida State won it 24-23. And that was a heartbreaking game for LSU, but they figured it out after that and went on a magical run, as we remember, winning games at home with Alabama and Ole Miss, and they went on the road to beat good Florida team, Arkansas, Auburn, all that good stuff, and they ended up making the SEC championship game. And now this team is looking for a lot more than that. They're looking to build off of 2022 and become, maybe win an SEC championship, maybe make the college football playoff. That's the goals for LSU this year. For Florida State, kind of very similar. Win the ACC, go to the college football playoff, maybe compete for a national championship. They have the pieces to do it. We're going to break down both rosters here in just a little bit and kind of go into detail about who can stand out in this game. The last couple of days, the big storyline for this game has been the absence of Mason Smith. He will miss this game due to a suspension that he has to serve with the NCAA after signing autographs back in 2021. Look, it's a big blow for LSU. There's no doubt about that. But at the same time, he didn't play at all last year. He played 6 plays against Florida State last year before he tore his ACL and was out for the year. So LSU knows what they have to do to win without him. And I think that they will be just fine in doing that. Harold Perkins is going to be a big name to watch at the inside linebacker spot. He's not going to stay inside, though. I can tell you that right now. He will be all over the place. Florida State, Jordan Travis, when he steps up to the line, he's going to have to find Harold Perkins wherever he is. That's the first thing that he's going to have to do because LSU will disguise him. They will put him as a defensive end. They will put him as an outside backer. They'll put him as an inside backer. He's going to be everywhere. So Florida State's going to have to do a good job of keeping an eye on him and watching what he can do. And then, of course, Mekhi Wingo in the middle is going to make life very interesting for the Florida State offensive line. Now, when you look at Florida State's offense, they bring back Jordan Travis, their quarterback from last year, who threw for over 3,000 yards, 24 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions. He also ran for 400 yards and 7 touchdowns last season. A really good quarterback, can do both, scrambling and passing really well. Runs the system very well. He's got good playmakers like Johnny Wilson out wide. That'll have a good year again this year. And then Trey Benson behind him at running back. 990 yards last year. Powerful downhill runner that can break away in the second level. He's going to be very fun to watch this season. And he's gonna put on a show over in Orlando Sunday night. So Florida State's going to put up points. They will. LSU's defense, they can control them all they want. Florida State's going to put up points. The question is going to be can LSU's offense, led by Jaden Daniels, who currently has the second best odds to win the Heisman Trophy, can he match that? And can his playmakers match that? You're going to be without John Emery Jr. as well. So you look at that backfield, Logan Diggs, Josh Williams, Armani Goodwin could potentially be out as well. You're going to have to depend on Josh Williams, Logan Diggs, and Noah Cain to really carry that load for you. And then Jaden Daniels' running ability as well. And then you look at the receivers. Obviously, Malik Neighbors is going to be the guy. But then you look around him, you've got Kyron Lacey, you've got Chris Hilton Jr., you've got Brian Thomas. You've got guys that you have to look out for. So LSU is going to have their hands full with Florida State and vice versa. Florida State's going to have their hands full with LSU. Another matchup in this game I'm looking out for is the coaches. Brian Kelly and Mike Norvell, both good coaches in their own right. Brian Kelly, one of the top coaches in college football over the last 10 or so years. What will this matchup look like? you always see a psychological battle between the two head coaches trying to make the other one slip up. Who slips up first? Because I think that could be a telling point in this game. Who slips up first in this matchup between LSU and Florida State could end up being the winner. You look at the betting odds for this matchup. According to ESPN Analytics, LSU has a 65% chance of winning this game. According to Caesar Sportsbook, they are a 2.5-point favorite in this game. I'm going to take that, actually, LSU minus 2.5. I think they win by a field goal. I think it's just an absolute dogfight of a game. I'm looking for a 38-35 type football game here between LSU and Florida State. Both offenses are going to produce. Both defenses are going to play well. And that's the thing. The defenses are going to play well. But these offenses are so powerful that even though the defense plays well, they're still going to score 30 points. So it'll be a fun matchup for sure between LSU and Florida State this Sunday. Our very own Dawson Iserlo will be in Orlando giving you all the coverage from Camping World Stadium for this top 10 matchup between LSU and Florida State. Like we talked about earlier this week, the Louisiana Raging Cajuns also playing Northwestern State Demons on Saturday night, and McNeese opens their 2023 season as well this weekend. Look, you look at all three of these teams and what they can start their season with. It's going to be interesting to see what UL and McNeese do. There's a lot of question marks around both of those programs, right? Interested to see how Gary Goff handles year two. Year one was rocky, had a lot of turnover. You brought in 57 new players this season, so I'm interested to see what McNeese looks like when they play Tarleton State Saturday night in Lake Charles. Again with UL, a lot of changes. You had two big pieces of your defense in Andre Jones and Zion Hill-Green, Braylon Trahan, Eric Guerra as well, all depart. Cam Pedescalo and Trey Amos transferred out. You're replacing 7 starters from last year on defense. So what does that look like for the Cajuns? Offensively, Ben Wooldridge is back under center. We talked about the running backs, kind of some new faces. Chris Smith is gone now. Draylon Washington and Zylan Perry going to kind of be the two guys that the Cajuns look to run that show. So it's going to be an interesting weekend, opening weekend of college football for all three of our local teams. Some big high school football games as well. Notre Dame at Southside tonight, LCA Acadiana on Friday night. There's a lot to look forward to on this Labor Day weekend here in Acadiana. We'll keep you up to date on our social media pages at ESPN Southwest Louisiana. You can follow them all at ESPN_SWLA. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at ESPN Southwest Louisiana. Tell your friends to do the same. We keep pushing out great content all the time, and we want you to be a part of it and not miss any of it. So once again, go subscribe at ESPN Southwest Louisiana, and we will be back tomorrow to talk more about this weekend. Plus, we'll continue the conversation about the NFL. Most teams down to 53 now. What do these rosters look like? What's the season going to unfold with on September 7th when the season gets underway for the NFL? But that's going to do it for this edition of the Miguez Mindset right here on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles.